Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. I do hope you are well and delivering the results you want through your teams. This week, I'm going to explore the ideas of soft and hard data when it comes to managing your people. Now, you'll all be quite well aware with the fact that there is going to be a blend inside your business when it comes to managing people. People work for a couple of reasons. Obviously, they work for the money and they work for a purpose. They work for doing a good job. There's lots of reasons. But as a manager, you've got to judge people on a couple of very distinct paths. First one is a data-driven path. So this is going to be things that are very much tangible. So things you can definitely read. So this is going to be delivery of sales calls, number of widgets produced, sales made, whatever those metrics within your businesses are, cash conversion if you're in the finance sort of side of the world. Those are things that are quite tangible. And when you are dealing with your manager, you'll be speaking around those with a very factual based approach, because you'll know what your numbers are, you know what your targets are, or you should know your targets are, and we'll get into that in a minute. And you can then sort of show your leader, this is what I've done, this is what you expected me to do, this is why I've done this, or this is why I've not done this. Now, it's what you would consider the simplest part of managing a team would be the tangibles, the hard facts. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work that way, because firstly, people don't set targets at all. They don't set targets. I'm surprised how many businesses I've worked in where they haven't set very straight, tangible targets for the teams. They've given them vague ones, or basically cascade. It's a terrible way of doing goals if you've ever been in a business that uses cascades, where they've taken the top-end person's aim and then just literally rolled it down or cascaded it. It's in the title, isn't it? And those are the tangible ones that haven't been recorded. So you're not giving your people exactly what you expect them to do. There's some argument that says, well, really, should you be giving people exactly what you should be doing? And I can see that argument. I can see in creative circles, when you are in a creative business, that maybe it's going to be less the tangible, but more the soft, and we'll get to the softer stuff in a minute. But a lot of businesses will be judging tangibility. McDonald's, for instance, I just picked that out of my head. They're going to be looking at how much a restaurant makes. So is it selling enough product? It's a very straight metric. So last month or the year before's month, are you selling X amount of product to give you revenue, adjusted for whatever? If there's a sale on or a special on, are you pushing the special? So if it's a January burger or an Easter burger or Christmas festive burger, are you seeing the conversion of those? Is the restaurant doing the conversion? Something that the managers will be well averse to and well managed, as in measured against. So when the manager comes in, they'll be having conversations, the area manager, with the store manager or the restaurant manager. Have you done this? Of course, that would be good and should be then passed on. So the manager of the restaurant will do the same with their team. Look, guys, we're X amount behind or in front of the targets we need to push. We aren't selling enough of the festive cheeseburger. We need to push that. When they come to the counter, let's be more active. Would you like to try X? See what I mean? So very tangible. And that just transfers into everything. You know, if you're in a business that produces meals for people, because I've obviously worked in food, then you're going to be looking at how many meals are you making, how many units are you producing. A lot of it's driven by orders, yes, and the counter arguments, people say, well, I can only make what I've told, but you might have other metrics that are quite easily done. So are you converting it using the right amount of energy? Are you wasting less through the process? All tangible stuff that you should be measured against. So when you're leading, think of what your tangibles are for your team. Do you set them down for you? And not just on the yearly review or the 6-monthly review, but are you doing it as a conversation every week? Some businesses, their conversation will be done almost every day. I worked for a business that did a daily P&L. So a profit and loss was created every day for looking at what they'd wasted, what they'd produced, how efficient it had been. It was driven all the way through those tangible ones. But you knew You knew what you were doing. When you walked in and you saw your numbers, if there was a gap in production or there was a gap in waste or you had over-consumed, which is usage of a certain raw material, you go find it, you go look for it, you go see where did it go? Did we have a problem? Have we given away more than we should have to the end user, which means we're behind? It definitely focused you as a manager to go out with your team and find the issues. So you shouldn't overlook the hard facts. That's what I'm getting to. You also shouldn't do surprises. Don't surprise people with a fact at the end of a quarter. Oh, you haven't hit your numbers. And they turn around and go, you never told me what numbers I was after. Oh, you should know. That's another thing you shouldn't be saying to people. You should just know that, shouldn't you? Well, assume people don't know that and make sure you're setting it down. So there's your hard numbers, your hard facts. Definitely look at that as a leader. What about your softer stuff? Yep, I mean, the softer element of it isn't just HR's job to manage the softer part of it. It isn't HR that should be telling you what to do. It shouldn't be driven into, oh, you have to do a look at the succession plan every month and you all sort of, oh, God, no, we've got to do that now. It should be something you're living and breathing. Hard and the soft facts go together. Soft stuff, obviously, you're going to be looking at how people are doing things. So it's okay doing the what's. So they've produced so much, but have they done it in a way that's meant that the other shift or the other members of the team haven't been able to do their job? So look at the how they're doing it. How do they approach it? Now, you want personality. You shouldn't have people who are exactly the same. You don't want a load of clones doing it. You want to have a personal, independent way. But there is certain social norms that people need to be doing stuff by. And you need to judge and tell people if they're not doing that. If people are constantly rude or not doing the work correctly, how do you make sure those people know that? Are they? They might say, well, it's just me. Which is very easy for people to do. Oh, it's my personality. That's just the way I'm wired. I've always been that way. And you even find people around them in the office making excuses for them. Oh, yeah, that's just the way she is. Oh, that's the way he is always. Well, it's a Tuesday and, he didn't have a great night last night. Or it's a Friday and he's one eye on weekend. It's like, no, it's not acceptable. You need to have that conversation. So you can still be telling people, using the feedback model, when you do X, this causes Y. You need to do something different. What can you do different to make sure that doesn't happen again? And there's a big piece on feedback, obviously, through my channel that you can all listen to and probably are sick of hearing. But I'm not going to stop talking about it because one-to-ones, feedbacks are all the tools you should be using as a manager to make sure you're getting the best out of your team. So when you're putting together a scorecard, which you should be doing, and don't feel ashamed to do this, there seems to be I don't know, maybe I'm reading the room wrong, which might not be the first time. There seems to be this thing of managers can't manage people anymore. We can't tell them what to do. They'll just have a meltdown. There'll be an issue. I don't think that's the case. I think if you have got people around you who are part of your team, it's in your best interest and their best interest to establish what hard and soft data you're going to judge them on right from the start, right from knowing them, the lines that you're going to set. That'll make it so much easier for both parties when things are going well and also when things are not going well. You've got to be able to set these standards for them. You've got to tell them what you're going to do. Of course, there's a conversation. If you're going to set something that's completely unrealistic, that's never going to be achieved, you're going to fail and your department's going to fail and the person's going to fail. Why do that? On the reverse, you don't want something that's too easy and too achievable because then people will lose that drive to be better next time. But there's always that balance when you're setting it. And hard data, obviously, is a lot easier to support. It's a lot easier to be challenged from both sides. Whereas the softer data is around people, managing behaviours, making sure. And it's not attitudes, it's behaviours. I've said that on a few other casts. Behaviours are judgeable. When somebody does something and it's a behaviour, you see it, you can judge it. If it's an attitude, then you're in a bit of a grey area because what is an attitude but a feeling? And feelings are much more difficult to judge and to be judged against. You can see someone and you think, oh, they've got a face on. Oh, I wonder what's happening there. Just the way they are. Might be just their resting face. You don't look right happy because sometimes you think, well, I'm perfectly fine. I'm just thinking, what's up with you today? It's like, oh, I don't know. I didn't think there was anything up with me. So you've probably heard those conversations yourself. Be careful you don't slip into them. And that, of course, is getting to know the person's standard. What is their line? Where are they normally on that spectrum? Do they bounce into the office as a smiley face and always chatting? And that's the way they are, and you can judge them. And then one day they come in and they're not. They're quiet. They don't say anything. You can say, oh, something wrong with that. Because you've judged them in regards to not judging in a bad way, but you know what they are, you know what makes them tick, you understand them. That's the big thing with a soft one. And the thing with soft ones, soft information and soft data when you are in a team situation and driving a team, is it's harder to do. It's harder to gather because it takes more time. It means you have to put more effort in, and time and effort, unfortunately, in some managers' words, becomes hard work. And that if you're not going to put the hard work in, get to understand the people, then you're going to fail when it comes to it. And you'll predominantly see these people going straight for the hard data, using that, and the other stuff gets left behind. And of course, you might get the greatest results ever in a short term, but longer term, you're not going to have a team with the right balance around you. So just be aware of that idea of balance when it comes to a team and the way you're going to judge them. Well, thanks for listening to this show. As ever, I know you guys want to send me some feedback, so please, as it's a gift, send it, and it's a free gift. Lots of Yorkshire people love free gifts. So send it to managermattpodcast@gmail.com. Love to engage on new and old topics. And obviously, if you want to see my other show, which is running, you may go over to the Lean Business Improvement Show and look at all the stuff that's on there. It's a great new show. Have a look at that. But that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider, as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.